In this episode of All These Projects, I'd like to talk about something that's very close to my heart. Production values. I've been obsessed throughout the production of this entire series with improving its quality, upgrading the resolution, the frame rate, the lighting performance, the sound performance. So in the next couple episodes, we're going to go through that because as I move on to other projects such as NSH, I'm planning on recording a lot of video. So I need to work out what in my arsenal of developed equipment is best for things like that. So we're going to talk about sound in this episode, as you'd probably guessed from the fact that the audio is quite loud. So, let's start with on-camera microphones. At the moment you're hearing the Rode Wireless Go that's connected to the Zoom H4n, which is what I primarily use for shooting OP these days. However, there's a lot of microphones in all of my equipment that goes unused. So let's start with, well, on-camera microphones. The audio you're hearing now is from the Sony a6000 that's sitting to the left over here. This is my run and gun camera. I'm using it for a current vlog project and the audio is pretty good. Like, yes, you could pick up background audio easier, but I find that this would be perfectly acceptable for shooting a vlog or anything of that nature. Moving on, we have the Sony HDV. I use this as an example of what I'm going to try to avoid. How does it sound so good? How does it... what? How... what? How does it... It's a 18-year-old camcorder that records to tape. How does it sound so good? I thought it was going to be terrible. What? Anyway. Stylistically, I want something this old-sounding. Forgive my insult toward the HDV, you're brilliant. But
yeah, apparently so.
Remains. This would be a stylistic choice. I wouldn't use this for standard audio. Moving to center frame, we have the Osmo Pocket. The Osmo Pocket is, again, designed for vlogging, so the audio that comes from it is perfectly acceptable. I don't know whether I would use this for actual filmmaking. I mean, the Osmo is very much run and gun, in the same way that the A6000 is, just a little bit more so. So while I would say it's acceptable, I wouldn't consider using it. Moving up top to the one that can only just about see me, we have the Xiaomi Redmi Note 10 Pro, which is my phone. Obviously phone cameras are intended to be designed, well, not for professional scenarios, as you can see by the video quality, but the audio quality tends to be perfectly acceptable for phone calls and the like, so it's a technical option. Moving down to slight right, we have the D3200. Now, the D3200's audio quality isn't great. This is designed as a photography stills camera, so its video quality has never particularly been great, but it's been perfectly acceptable for what I do. So yeah, option, but unlikely. The 8-man A77, as I purchased in OP Week 8, is garbage. I'm going to stop this recording and put it away, and you will never see it in an episode of OP unless it's for a very specific purpose. Again. Say goodbye. And lastly, to my right here, we have the newest option that I've been considering, the GH3. I've been considering getting a GH4 for my filmmaking processes. I have a GH3 here, but there is a problem with it, namely the screen doesn't work, which, as you know, or if you've ever seen a GH3, excuse me while I pick it up, hello. It's supposed to have like the flippy outy screen, so that you can like see it from any angle, but this one doesn't work. So I got it for cheap. I'm considering getting a GH4 to up my production qualities to move to 4K, as well as just the option to do that. It makes vlogging much easier, it makes all that kind of run and gun stuff much easier, but for now I'm going to put this down so you have an actual opportunity to listen to the audio from it, which is what this whole video is supposed to be. I don't actually know the audio quality of this one. I've had it for a very little amount of time, so we'll talk about it in the edit, which gives me an excuse to move over to my voiceover section.
Thank you, past me. Right, let's talk about voiceovers. You'll have to excuse my poor video quality. The OBS doesn't particularly like my webcam. I have a Logitech Brio 4K, so it really shouldn't look this bad, but it is what it is. Either way, as you can see, I used the Audio-Technica AT2020 for my voiceovers. It's a highly capable cardioid microphone. I love it. Before this, I used a HyperX Solocast, which you can hear if you go all the way back to OP Week 1. I'll just put a clip in here. That title card that you just saw, the elements that you're about to see, that new website that's olivernicol.xyz. This is hooked into a Scarlett Focusrite Solo just because it's an easy audio interface and it lets me do all the changes I need to, which is just provide it with power and adjust the levels. I find that this is perfectly capable for the voiceovers I need to do, which isn't that much, and yeah, it's perfectly high quality. I don't particularly put a lot of effort into my voiceovers, so this'll do. And just for reference, I'm going to very quickly turn down the microphone and turn up the video capture device. So now you're hearing the audio that's coming straight out of my webcam. I'm just going to double check that this is the audio that is in fact coming straight out of my webcam. It is. So this is the audio that comes out of my webcam. I don't know if it's better or worse. I'm assuming worse, but I've been proven wrong before, apparently. So, we'll see. Right, I'm going to stop recording a vast number of these cameras because there are so many cameras here. Let's stop the GH3. I think I just did that. The GH3 ran out of battery. So I'm probably going to have to shoot a pickup in which you'll just hear some of the GH3 audio. I'll talk to it separately. You'll get my point, but oops. Oh, nope, it has power. GH3, you willing to roll for a second there? Okay, so the GH3 is supposedly recording now. So this is kind of audio quality we can expect out of the GH3. Obviously it's not representative, so I'm just going to put it up on the table again. And you'll get an idea of what kind of audio quality I was expecting out of it. Obviously we're going to stop the HDV because it's only to be used for montages, clearly. HDV shut down. And then lastly we're going to just turn off the A6000. Very capable camera, I really like it. It's just, yeah, this is the setup we have going on, by the way. It's just, yeah. I use it primarily for running gun these days. And lastly, my phone, which has been not really very useful the whole time. So yes, now we're just on the Osmo Pocket for the video, but that doesn't matter because we're going to talk about the rest of my audio. As I said earlier, my primary gear that I use is a Rode Wireless Ghost. That's not my face. Are you tracking the little... You're tracking my chair. So in this last section now, we're just going to move on to talk about the main specialized audio gear that I have. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I film primarily, you can't see it, I film primarily on the Rode Wireless Go, which the other half of the set is connected up to a Zoom H4n. This is a highly capable audio recorder in its own regard. I just prefer using the Wireless Go because it makes the audio that much closer to me, which is helpful because I'm quite quiet. I'm now going to stop recording and start recording again. And this time, what I have done is started recording and place the audio recorder on the table. So we just have the audio from the Zoom H4n now. So now I can actually show you the other piece of the Rode Wireless Go set. So this is the audio that comes directly out of the Zoom H4n. It's pretty good, but it does peak a lot even when you change the recording level. There's obviously stuff I can do to work around that, but this is very much more useful if I'm doing more static recording, if I'm recording just while sat down, or in a place where I know I'm not going to move. So, like this. It's a perfectly good recorder. I primarily use it just to record from external mics, as I'm going to do now to demonstrate the last thing that I wish to point out. The Rode Video Mic Go. Now I got this a while ago, you'll notice it in Illness and Audio Tracks. I can't remember what week that was, but I remember the name. Which is odd, because I usually remember OP episodes the other way around. We're just going to stop recording again. Plug this in. And we are recording using the Rode Video Mic Go. Now this is tended to be designed to be on camera. So I'm just going to place it down on the table here, so it's slightly to the left, and you can hear the kind of audio I'm getting out of this. It's fairly high quality. I don't think anyone would care if this wasn't like on TV. I think for YouTube this is perfectly acceptable, as is a lot of the audio I've recorded. I think that's something I need to take into account, is the fact that production qualities on YouTube are significantly lower anyway, so
I don't really need to worry about audio quality being of severe concern, it just needs to be good enough. So, with that said, I haven't listened to any of the audio back yet, so VoiceOver Me will let you know if there's anything I disagree with, but I think I'm perfectly acceptable in the realms of audio. As for cameras, we'll talk about that next week. See you then. This is going to be a nightmare to edit. An absolute nightmare. Think, clap. Not that it's useful at this point.